Hi, my name is Zach Simmons, and this is Pro Football Today. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the NFC East. I'm going to give you my predictions, what I think the standings are going to look like here at the end of the 2019 season. So, in last place, I have the Washington Redskins. There's a few different reasons why I have them. I'm still number 4. First, let's take a look at the defense. They add Landon Collins, which is a great upgrade. Ha Clinton-Dix is a good safety, but Landon Collins is definitely an upgrade over Ha Clinton-Dix. Now, the biggest problem that I have with Washington is their linebacking core. They let Zach Brown go in free agency. They let Pernell McPhee go in free agency. They let Preston Smith go in free agency. And they lost Reuben Foster to an ACL tear, and they just cut Mason Foster. Right now, the only linebacker, the only starting linebacker from last season that's still on the team is Ryan Kerrigan. So, do they have the guys to replace all the guys let go? Those are all good players that were either let go or injured. So do they have the guys to replace them? They feel confident they have the guys in-house. They also signed John Bostic to be the new starting inside linebacker. Bostic is a good solid starter, but he's not really anything special. He's a good starter who can fill in that position. He's more like a bridge linebacker. That's how his career's been. Going with Chicago, going with New England and Pittsburgh. That he is more of a bridge linebacker. But it sounds like they really like him. They like what he's been able to do here in minicamp and training camp. Now let's take a look at the offense. A lot of the controversy there in Washington is going around their quarterback competition. Is it Haskins? Is it Keenum? Or is it McCoy? They have a three-way competition for that starting quarterback spot. And it's really hard to tell exactly what's going to happen. The only quarterback that's been in that system before is Colt McCoy. So we don't know how Keenum's going to look in the system. We don't know how Haskins is going to look in the system. So there's a lot of questions over what exactly they're going to be doing there at quarterback. Then looking at running back, Geis is back. He's healthy. He hasn't played in the NFL yet. Last year being his rookie season, where he got an ACL tear in week 3 of the preseason last year. So he hasn't seen any action in a regular season game whatsoever. So can he be the starting back? And now he's starting to deal with the hamstring issue. So there's a lot of questions looming if Geis is injury prone. So they may have to rely back on Adrian Peterson, who they were able to bring back. But that question still remains: what exactly are they going to do their running back as well? Then look in the receiving core. They let go of Jameson Crowder. Crowder is now with the Jets. They still have Paul Richardson, they still have Josh Doctson, and they still have Trey Quinn. Now, can these 3 receivers do a little bit more? Can they take the next step up? Paul Richardson is a good receiver, but I'm not sure he's a good number 1. I think he's a good number 2, a good slot receiver, but I'm not sure he's a really good outside receiver. That seems like that's all they have is a bunch of good slot receivers. So a lot of questions looming if this receiving core can be good, especially if Dwayne Haskins ends up winning the starting job. Can these guys support a rookie quarterback and help him out? So that's where I have them down number 4. It's just a lot of questions. A lot of the guys that are there need to take a step up. But now let's take a look at number 3. I have the New York Giants at number 3. Now the reason I have the Giants above the Redskins this year is because I like what they've done in defense. They're starting to revamp the defense. In fact, the entire draft, except for 2 picks, except for Daniel Jones, the receiver they picked up later on in the draft. Except for those 2 picks, they drafted a bunch of defensive players, a lot of edge rushers in there. So you can kind of see that they're starting to piece together this defense that really, they had a good defense before back in the JPP era, but they've lost that as of lately. So now they're trying to regain that. And this defense, I think, is actually a good defense. I'm not sure I'll put them in the top 10. If they do get in the top 10, I think they're just going to sneak in there around 9 or 10. But I would expect them to be above average in that 10 to 16 range. But it's a good defense, especially now they have Jabril Peppers. He's not Landon Collins, but he still is a good, solid safety. And they do have Antoine Bethea there to help him out as well. This offense, they lost Eric Flowers. Now they have Mike Remmers, who's a good, solid tackle, definitely an upgrade over Flowers. This offense actually does look better. Now, I know they lost Odell. I know they lost Odell, but to be honest, I think they're better off without Odell. The reason is um, Odell has such a strong personality that really didn't mesh well with anyone else. His character, his personality just didn't work for New York. I'm not trying to bash his personality or anything, but you just need, when it comes to a team, you have to have the right chemistry, especially with your stars. They have to have the right chemistry. And Beckham and Manning just did not have that chemistry. Beckham and the rest of the locker room just didn't have that same chemistry. So it makes sense to let go of Odell. In fact, I think it's the best thing for the Giants right now. You have to have kind of the same personalities around each other, build the chemistry up. And with Odell there, that just wasn't really possible. In fact, I think having Odell there was actually hurting them more than helping them. So now the Giants can part ways with Odell. The Giants can be better. And then Odell fits that personality very, very well in Cleveland. So it's the best thing for Odell, best thing for the Giants, for them to split ways. So now taking a look at the receiving core. The receiving core took some major hits at the starting training camp. Golden Tate is looking at a 4-game suspension. That could be appealed next week. Sterling Shepard is dealing with a thumb injury. What it sounds like is he should be able to make the regular season. So it'll only impact him this preseason, this training camp. And then Corey Coleman is out for season with an ACL tear. Now the thing is with Coleman, it's really unsure if he was going to make the team anyway. They're hoping he can be really, really good. That they can bring out his potential that we saw that he had in Cleveland. But if that wasn't going to happen, they do have guys like Cody Lattimore, Russell Shepard, Bentley Fowler, and the guy they just drafted, Darius Slayton. So, and they could have parted ways with Corey Coleman easily. It's just that now they basically have to part ways that he can't play this season at all. So Russell Shepard, I think he can easily take that next step up. Cody Lattimore, I think, can take that step up. Benny Fowler might be able to take that step up as well. And then Darius Slayton, we'll see how this preseason goes. He might be able to make that step take that step as well. So I wouldn't count this Giants receiving core out just yet. I think they have some guys that can easily take the next step. But this team, it looks to be a good team. They're rebuilding. They're definitely not going to be in the race for the playoffs or race for the number 1 spot or the number 2 spot. I think it's safe to say they'll take the number 3 spot. I can see them having a better season than the Redskins. And then number 2, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I like what the Cowboys have done. They haven't added too much, but they've replaced their losses very well. They lost Cole Beasley. They replaced him with Randall Cobb. They also, so far, they've lost Terrence Williams. They haven't brought him back, and no one signed him. But they have Michael Gallup. They didn't really need Williams there. And Cobb can kind of play that slot, that number 2 spot. In fact, I would take Cobb over Beasley. Beasley is a really good receiver, good slot receiver. Has been a reliable target there for many years in Dallas. But I think Cobb is a more reliable target than Beasley. And then looking at the tight end spot, they got Jason Witten back. At the very least, they have a good coach in Jason Witten. But I would be surprised if he doesn't get a good amount of playing time this season. This defense also looks really good. Looks like a really good defense. Sean Lee is healthy. And Vander Esch played excellent last season, coming very close to Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. But this team is a good team. It is a good team, but I don't think they're good enough to make it into the playoffs. There's a lot of good wildcard teams in the NFC. I'm just not sure the Cowboys have enough to surpass the Saints, the Falcons, whoever wins that division, the Seahawks, the Rams, whoever can win that division, or the Bears and Vikings, whoever can win that division. That I don't think the Cowboys have what it takes to make the playoffs. They're very close. They'll put up a fight for the division, but I don't see them making playoffs this year. But like what I said, it'll be close. It'll be very close. Number 1, then, I do have the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, I think they've taken some major steps. But it all relies on the health of Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz goes down, they don't have Nick Foles to rely on anymore. He's now in Jacksonville. They have Nate Sudfeld, who they're going to have to rely on. And I'm not sure he can march his way into the playoffs, through the Super Bowl, like Nick Foles did. But this team does look really good. The running back core is solid. It's a little confusing. I'm not sure who the number 1 guy is going to be. You got Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, Darren Sproles just re-signed, Corey Clement, and then Randall Smallwood. This is a good running back core. 5 good running backs. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Howard doesn't make the cut. They have so many running backs. They can only give out so many jobs at running back. And Howard, I just don't feel like he... I don't feel like that he really fits that scheme too well. Doug Peterson's scheme. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone. But Miles Sanders, I expect him to be kind of lead back there in Philadelphia. In fact, I'll probably say that the 3 running backs you want to take a look at there in Philly would be Miles Sanders, Darren Sproles, and Corey Clement. Those are going to be the 3 kind of rotating around. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with Darren Sproles there now. Is Sproles going to take all the passing downs? Is he going to split those with Corey Clement? Is Clement going to take some snaps away from Miles Sanders? First and second down. I'm not sure. It'd be very interesting to see exactly what they do this preseason and how they start the regular season. Then taking a look at their defense. This defense actually looks really good. They added Malik Jackson there. They brought back Vinny Curry. And they also got Andrew Sadejo from Minnesota. This does actually look like a really good defense. I like what I see from them. And also their corners. They're healthy now. To make the playoffs last year with your backup corners. That's impressive. So now you get Ronald Darby back, you get Sidney Jones back. This defense looks good. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind they're going to win division as long as Carson Wentz can stay healthy. So that's what I have here for the NFC East. Number 4, we have Washington. Number 3, we have the Giants. Number 2, we have Dallas. And number 1, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you like what I've said, if you don't like what I've said, please comment below. And also, please subscribe. I hope you have a really good day. Thank you for viewing.